Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about the recent and very fascinating trend of people making Ancestry DNA test videos here on YouTube. Last time we went over one of these videos, it was from a young female YouTuber named Nia Hope, and she got really triggered by her results for a number of pretty offensive reasons. Most notably, Nia got really upset and sad and angry, and she even cried when she found out she was part white. We made a whole video about it, going over all the details here on the No Bullshit show back in March, and actually that video wound up becoming one of our biggest hits of the year. Thanks for watching all that, guys. So after coming across another similar DNA test video recently, I thought now would be a good time to make a sequel to that video, a part 2 if you will. And as for part 1, well, I already wrapped up Nia's story mostly in another additional video I made. She basically fell apart after people started discovering her DNA test video, and others began making responses and comments calling her out on it too. This resulted in Nia taking down the video and making her own follow-up as well, trying to re-explain and reframe things so she doesn't come off as such a bigot this time. And kudos to her, actually, I will give her credit. She at least tried to fix things, but I still feel like Nia didn't really apologize, and she really doesn't think she did anything wrong either. She's just sorry she got caught. And if you want to catch up on all this too, on that whole story and the follow-up, well, go ahead and check out the links I've got to the original videos below this video. But for now, let's go ahead and move forward and talk about this new story soon. But before we do need to talk a little bit more about this whole trend and why it's becoming a bit cringy and offensive. You see, people taking lots of DNA tests and looking into their family history and your family tree isn't really a big deal or problematic in itself. It's something people have done for years, and there's been documentaries and TV shows made about it over time too. In fact, the new and recent Watchmen TV show on HBO, they even featured a sort of family tree thing in one of their episodes last week, which makes this topic all the more relevant. Basically, it's natural for humans to be curious about this, apparently, and nothing is wrong with it on its own either. But there are 2 or 3 factors that have come up recently that have made things come to a real head, so to speak. First, Ancestry DNA tests have become increasingly easy and cheap to get done. You can do it by mail from home for only like $100 or $200 now. And combine this price with renewed interest in the idea, and well, a whole new fad of getting your DNA tested has spread and engrossed all of North and South America and much of the Western world too. And then in addition, another side trend to this is that many normal people and some professional YouTubers, they've been getting in on this craze and making videos revealing their DNA test results to their audiences. And while this is typically okay and it can even be fun to watch sometimes, but it's also rather boring for the most part. But not always. Sometimes there have been a number of incidents and issues and some unexpected revelations coming from these videos as well. First, there's been a growing number of times that these tests have revealed unexpected family lineage, meaning there's a number of times people have figured out who they are and aren't related to in their families. This can naturally raise questions and more controversy, like people who might find out they were adopted but were never told they were, and others might find out either their father or mother aren't actually one of their biological parents, or that they're really their older sister's daughter, or other stuff like that. Many families have gotten into many a fight and even had to cut off contact because of these seemingly harmless Ancestry DNA tests. Next, let's get back to the topics at hand today. Another growing trend is perhaps a little less dramatic or shocking, but it is pretty revealing and interesting to see nonetheless. Much like with our first video, a number of people are getting upset about the kinds of people and races they're finding in their own backgrounds. And while our first video's subject, Nia Hope, was expecting to be all African, and then she broke down crying when it turned out she was part European, well, another situation that's sometimes more prevalent is when this happens in the opposite direction. Many white SJW types are taking these tests, hoping they can find themselves to be at least part something else, like Native American or black or brown or something. A very big example of this was seen in the beginning of this year when Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren took one of these tests, and then she tried to brag about it because she found out she was 1/1000th Native American or something. Most of the country laughed her out of the room because of course we did. That's ridiculous. And this really reminds me of when the show South Park did a parody of these tests back in 2017. In that episode, they made a joke Ancestry DNA commercial where the actors were saying they were 1 or 2% victim, goofing on how rich, affluent, liberal whites try and pretend to be part minority to get victim points with their peers, just like what Elizabeth Warren is still doing to this day. And now that we can clearly see the increase in availability of these tests is combining with the SJW woke culture, and it's resulting in radically brainwashed left-wingers taking the tests and either hoping to be part minority a little too much, or, and I think this part is worse, the other side is they're playing down around and acting ashamed of their white heritage. This, of course, would be seen as completely racist and offensive if it was flipped around, but because the woke left and liberal mainstream media have been pushing their pro-minority, anti-white propaganda for so long, many people are buying into this bit hook, line, and sinker. That finally brings us to our new example for today's video. This one comes from a young blonde YouTuber named Brittany Ann. Many saw clips of this going around on Twitter, and I thought they even might be fake because she's so over the top and ditzy in this. She almost seems like a Poe or a parody of how radical SJWs have become. But upon looking further into this and checking out the rest of the videos and her channel, I do think this is a genuine reaction. Brittany typically makes random vlogs and fitness-like content, so for her to all of a sudden make a pitch-perfect, wonderfully acted SJW parody would be a bit of a stretch. It's possible and I could be proven wrong one day, but I really think she is just that far gone here. Brittany is really this brainwashed and this ditzy and dumb too, but don't just take my word for it. Let's take a look at her video and see it for ourselves.
I'm mostly German, and I have French, Irish, and Swedish in me, and that is as far as I can tell. What I want to be, though, this is a whole different, I want to be a little bit African.
Notice how she starts to sound like she's making a shopping list here when she talks about what she wants to be and what she wants in her background. Apparently being any part African really excites this chick. Wouldn't be surprised if she had some African in her at some point, if you know what I mean. But I highly doubt this blonde girl who's very pale and white is going to actually have any African DNA. Pretty ironic that her camera and lighting is way too bright and blown out for this video too, making her look more white than ever. And also, check out that dream catcher on the wall just to the left of her there, in the back. Maybe she's hoping to be 1/1000th part victim too, like Elizabeth Warren. Also, the beginning of this clip is very telling too because it's just so obvious how disappointed she acts when she goes over how she thinks all of her background comes from white races. Like, why is that a bummer or even boring anyway? Only a liberal indoctrinated anti-white moron would think this way. European and even American heritage and history is nothing to scoff at or be ashamed of. In fact, the United States, Britain, France, Germany, Spain, and others, we've all been leading world history for centuries. Sure, our histories aren't perfect and everyone makes mistakes, but regardless, the European nations have been world superpowers, conquerors, and founders of new lands and built new countries. We've invented science, math, modern medicine, electricity, technology, computers, and the internet. But instead of getting stoked about being part of European culture, this girl in the video instead yearns to be part African or Middle Eastern or Asian or something, all because she wants those sweet, sweet victimhood points. Next, let's cut forward and see how Britt reacts when she finally finds out she's 95% white.
No. It's all highlighted in Europe. 95% European. I don't know if anyone else gets upset about that, but I don't enjoy it.
First of all, offensive. Being this overly disappointed when you find out you're European is certainly offensive to them. Just like how it would be offensive if I got mad when I found out I was part black or Jewish. God forbid. Kidding, of course, but that's the point here, isn't it? You can't even kid about being upset that your heritage is from one of these minority groups, but apparently this chick and many other SJWs, they think it's totally cool and acceptable to be upset about being Caucasian. Brittany here must be starting to see that this was a bad take too, since she has recently disabled the comments on this video. Previously, she was even asking people to comment on this video in the beginning of the video in the introduction. But now that people are calling her out for being bigoted and anti-white, she cut that conversation off real quick. Wouldn't be surprised if she eventually took this whole video down one day too, just like how Nia Hope did. Because while these ditzy girls try and stand tall and they secretly want the views and attention too, but at the same time, when people like us out them, eventually over time they either realize that's true or they get sick of the constant accusations and give up. I wouldn't ask someone to or pressure them to take anything down here though on my end, and I think these girls deserve to make videos and be on YouTube, of course, but if I were them, I would certainly consider removing this evidence. Fortunately, I would never be dumb enough to post something this wildly bigoted, which is exactly what Brittany here just did.
I am 5% West Asian, And I'm literally tearing up right now.
Looks like we got another crier, another SJW crying over their DNA test, but this time she is pushing out crocodile tears because she's just so damn excited and happy to supposedly be part Asian. West Asian, I think, whatever that means. I think many would just call that Indian or Pakistani or something, but regardless, I think you get the point. This girl went from shocked and upset about mostly being white, and then she pulled a total 180 and got super stoked about being a small percentage Asian, maybe. And honestly, I can't think of anything more belittling to a racial group than to yearn for genetic percentages of them, as if you're some kind of tourist collecting a trinket which you're buying to provide you some sort of oh neat points or virtue signaling street cred. With that said, this girl is pretty much being offensive and bigoted to both sides then, because not only is she obviously mad that she's white, but also she's overly excited about being part minority and treating that culture like it's some kind of cheap, meaningless feather on her cap, a cap which she will certainly try and wear around and brag to her SJW friends about. Next, Brittany looks at the results to a second DNA test, hoping this one will say she's more minority or some shit. This doesn't go so well either though. Take a look.
That is not cool. They took away my Asian heritage altogether on this one. 99.9% European is what it's saying now. Like, tell me that is not the rudest thing you've ever heard. Middle Eastern and North African.
This lady is on quite the emotional roller coaster here. First, she's mad she lost her Asian heritage, as she puts it, also saying it's rude for the test to tell her the obvious that she's mostly white. And then she does another 180 here and gets really happy again when the test says she's a small fraction of a percentage North African. Apparently being black is a winning hand according to leftists like this, because the last girl, Nia Hope, was hoping she was more black too. And both girls are upset at how much of their background is European descendant as well. This raises two questions then. Why do young millennial not so bright women like this feel this way? And well, if it isn't oh so obvious yet already, well, let me go ahead and make it crystal clear for you guys. It's because the liberal run mainstream media, entertainment industries, and leftists running our schools and big tech, and also large swaths of our government, they are all promoting anti-white and pro-minority rhetoric. There's no other reason for so many girls to think like this. It's racist liberals in the public and probably their racist left-winger parents who are indoctrinating them as well. Because as I also said earlier, if we were judging these races and groups of people honestly and going off their statuses and achievements and overall success, these people would then feel the opposite of this. And that's because Europeans have had good histories and been successful and earned themselves world-changing track records. While, on the other hand, Africans, well, not to be too harsh, but they're not exactly making the best countries in the world over there. There's no Paris or London or New York City in Africa either, that's for sure. And there's also no world-famous doctors curing polio there either. And they don't have inventors changing the world zeitgeist by inventing groundbreaking things like electricity or the internet either.
Also, side note, I realize that most likely any type of like African heritage could have been from slavery, and in which that case, not cool. I am not happy with any ancestors that were involved with that, but I do still want to be a little bit African.
Wow, slavery even gets a mention here. Damn, and look how happy she is just imagining that she might be part African. What a goddamn joke. And way to virtue signal and tell us all you think forced servitude is bad. Real groundbreaking stuff right there, Brittany. How brave of you. What's next? Are you going to tell us murder is wrong too? And also, you want to talk about how you've never farted on someone's face as well? Please. In the end, we've got yet another Ancestry DNA test that's gone wrong. And once again, it's because a not so bright girl is trying to be woke and liberal and hip and cool, which has resulted in them outing themselves as not only racist and anti-white, but also they're bigoted and patronizing to minority cultures as well. Not a good look all around, and anyone who still has a video up like this should feel ashamed. What do you guys think? Should people be bummed about being white? Is being part minority really that fun and cool anyway? And do you think there are more videos out there like this on YouTube still to this day? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.